Hey everybody, welcome to Fragrance Explorer. My name's Robert. Today we're taking a look at Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Intense for Men. So let's get started. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense is a masculine woody aquatic fragrance introduced in 2017 from perfumer Alberto Morillas. Let's take a look at the note breakdown. In the top we have grapefruit and mandarin orange. In the mid, we have a salty aquatic accord and juniper. And in the base, we have musk and amberwood. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense for Men is another phenomenal fragrance from Alberto Morillas. And if you know anything about Alberto Morillas, he's just got a ton of fragrances under his belt. I mean, he started putting out fragrances in, I believe, around 1970, and he's been going strong ever since. And CK1, Aquatic, Bulgari Man in Black, all of those are fragrances that he's put out, and a ton of other ones, but those are ones that are in my collection that are just phenomenal. They're right on the top of my mind whenever I think of Alberto Morillas. And this one is another phenomenal fragrance. This is just, I think that this is going to be another classic from him, and I don't think it's getting enough attention because it's really, even though it's not unique in the type of fragrance being a woody aquatic fragrance, it really is very well blended and a really good fragrance. It opens with a really some bright notes of grapefruit and mandarin orange, and there are several fragrances that have a grapefruit or some sort of bergamot and mandarin orange type opening. In fact, we've looked at a few of those fragrances recently, but this one, there's something just different about it, and the fact that the grapefruit and the mandarin orange, it has almost a cooling effect. That bright opening is very cool and refreshing. So this is a perfect fragrance for wearing in hot summer weather. And then in the mid, we get that it's, even though it's an artificial fragrance, you know, the salty aquatic note, it does smell oceanic. It smells like oceanic water there in the mid, and then it's got a little bit of the juniper that gives it a freshness that's almost like fresh cut pine. If you've ever smelled fresh cut pine, so if you take a pine and that sap from the pine is coming out, so it's a little bit aquatic and a little bit like pine in the mid, very, very fresh. And then in the base, a very simple base, but it's got musk and amberwood, and so the amberwood and the musk that dirty it up a little bit and make it masculine, but also the amberwood, even though it's a little bit like artificial ambergris and it's got some saltiness to it, it leans a little bit more towards the woodiness, and it makes it really intense. And there's something about it that's just got real longevity. This fragrance has really good performance. The sillage is not overpowering by any means, but it does have good, moderate performing sillage, and that sort of agrees with what we're seeing from reviewers on Fragrantica. They kind of rate it as moderate sillage, and I would agree with that. It's 1.5 meters, maybe 2 meters of type of projection, more like 1.5 meters. It doesn't project real hard, but it does have really good longevity. I wore it this afternoon, and while I was filming some of the B-roll for this review, and I sprayed it on my hand a couple of times just to kind of demonstrate how the atomizer was working. And even later in the afternoon, after I had been wearing it for several hours and I'd washed my hands several times, I could smell my palm, and I could still smell this fragrance on my hand fairly strong. And I had washed my hands several times. So this is a really good performer, which is unusual for Dolce & Gabbana. If you know anything about Dolce & Gabbana, the One, it really doesn't have, it's a phenomenal fragrance, but it doesn't have great longevity. This one, on the other hand, is a really well-blended, great summer fresh fragrance, and it does have good longevity. Now, the projection does not last. That initial, those top notes, once they burn away, that grapefruit and the mandarin orange, once those notes burn away, it doesn't project as hard, and it does pull back some. But you do still smell really nice and fresh and clean and masculine. It is a great fragrance to wear in very warm weather. Light Blue Intense is presented in a frosted flaken with a chrome and light blue stopper. Now the stopper's plastic and not very heavy, but nonetheless it has a nice tactile click to let you know that it's secure, and it should travel in a bag fairly well and protect the atomizer from accidental actuation. Now the atomizer is high quality, it's in a chrome metallic finish, and it provides a medium fine mist with really good control over the distribution. So this one's a really easy one to control where you're spritzing it and how much, and it doesn't ever come out in kind of a liquid stream. So one other thing about the packaging, we talked about the flask a little bit, how it's got kind of a frosted look that looks a little bit like ice or something, but it's got like a frosty surface, and so I think that implies that it's going to be a very cool, refreshing fragrance. Really, really nice packaging. But one other thing that's kind of nice, this the box that it comes in, I don't know if it's going to come through on the photography or not, but on the outside it's almost like a suede or a felt type surface on the outside of the box, which is kind of unique. I don't have any other boxes that look like this. Normally it's just a printed cardboard that's got some sort of print on the outside of it, but this one actually has a texture. It feels a little bit like suede, which is kind of unique. So final thoughts, Alberto Morillas is really kind of a master at creating these fantastic fragrances that are kind of have an aquatic vibe to them. And I think of Acqua di Gio, that's an aquatic fragrance. It was just a huge hit for him. This is another one. I don't think it's getting as much attention or love as it deserves. It's a very good fragrance, very well composed, and like I said, it's got great longevity. I live here in Florida, and it is sweltering right now. It's in the mid 90s, and with the heat index, it's up to close to feeling over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's just swelteringly hot. But you put this fragrance on, and it makes you feel cool and refreshed. So this is a great fragrance for wearing in the summer. And it's been my go-to fragrance the last couple of weeks because of how warm it's been. But it is a great summer fresh fragrance. So Light Blue Intense has a really similar vibe to another fragrance that I reviewed last year, and that is Bulgari Aqua Atlantique. This is also a aquatic, very fresh blue fragrance. The difference between these two would be, I would say that Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense is a superior fragrance. I shouldn't say that. It's different. It's not necessarily that it's superior, but I think I like this one better. So you may like Aqua Atlantique better. I like the Light Blue Intense better, and the reason is the Aqua Atlantique. It's got good performance. It's really fresh and aquatic, but it does have a little bit of that rotten egg smell, almost a bit like sulfurous. In there with the aquatic fragrance, and that's a main complaint that a lot of people have on Fragrantica. If I've looked at other people's, what other people were saying about this fragrance, and you can pick up a little bit on that. This, on the other hand, does not have that at all. This one's got some sweet, more of the amberwood smell. It brings a little bit of a dirty sweetness into the base. You don't get the sulfurous smell out of this, although these are very similar vibe as far as these two fragrances go. So 100 milliliter bottle of Light Blue Intense right now at Amazon and FragranceNet is running right around $75 US. So you can pick this up at a decent discount from discounters. It's not a cheap fragrance by any means, but it's not super expensive. So I think that around $75 for a 100 milliliter bottle at discounters is a reasonable price. You can find this full retail, I think, is right around $94, $95 US. At Macy's for a 100 milliliter bottle. So thanks for watching. I appreciate all of the positive feedback and the comments that we've been getting on the channel. I appreciate you guys keeping the discussion really nice and positive in the comments, and I really do appreciate that. But stay safe, and hope you have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.